welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. Number 9.
And this is The Fool.
Your 96 best place to listen to...
For 10 years.
Yes, for our 10th season of our mostly up-to-date...
And unqualified. And unrequested.
ramblings of the various issues in the world of sport.
Or something like that.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the podcast. We are here to talk about the Oval Ball Code, our country's national game, and the game which I consider to be our country's native code, even though most people won't agree with me. Where we're here to talk about rugby and rugby league.
Yeah.
Pinnacle of rugby, with the Rugby World Cup, is due to start this Saturday.
Yeah.
It was... the All Blacks play France in the curtain raiser.
Great opening match.
Yes, absolutely great opening match. I was telling the Fool that I only learned this while I was at the sauna and public swimming pool.
Yes.
This is where you get the grapevine these days.
It's definitely the place to be picking up all the hot goss, really.
Absolutely. And now the reason why I have kind of gone under radar, the Rugby World Cup, not just because we've had I think every single World Cup in existence this year.
Well, at least over the last sort of 12 to 18 months. Seems to be everything.
Yeah, every single World Cup, and we have this Rugby World Cup to come, and more World Cup and a Cricket World Cup as well.
Yeah.
Which obviously we are very much looking forward to.
Yeah.
All that excitement aside, we have also got the rugby league this year, the NRL, after many, many long years of COVID, where we were not able to watch our beloved Warriors at the stadium, much like we do every season, right? The Fool.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're regulars at the regulars at Mount Smart and occasionally Mount Eden when they play there. Totally don't need to look that up. No fact checks. No fake news here at all.
No fake news. No need to check that. That's 100% truth. Yeah, totally. To be fair, I think tried to manage to get there before COVID fairly often.
Yes.
So
there's definitely a few people in our group who are very much long-time Warriors fans, but we all love the Warriors, and when they have a great season, Auckland just comes alive. The city just has a different bounce about it, and they have had a great season. They managing to finish in the top 4, spend a lot of time in the top 3. They played their backups in their last game after they had confirmed the top 4 spot, and they finished 4th. The Storm magnificently managing to defeat the Broncos in their last game to get a qualifying spot, and the Dolphins managed to beat the Warriors, and the Panthers absolutely smashed the Knights, who still managed to somehow make it. Sorry, Cowboys, beg your pardon. Yeah. But then we had a really, really exciting last round of games where at least 8 teams, by my count, were still close to being able to qualify for the playoffs. More or less.
More or less. Helped a lot by the Raiders having an absolutely horrible points differential of minus 100 or something they ended up with, even though they still managed to make the top 8. Minus 137, which is just horrendous.
But the Raiders, my cousins in Australia, are going to be very, very happy. Despite losing to the Sharks, still managing to get through yet again, because
out by everybody else losing.
Yeah, teams like the Rabbitohs and Cowboys and the previously mentioned Cowboys and Eels all managing to lose.
Yeah. Well, the Eels had the bye, but they'd lost the week before, so they hadn't managed to get their past up to the points required. So Eels didn't quite make it.
The only team less successful than the Warriors in the NRL.
funny enough, at work, there's basically two teams followed, people passionately follow at work, and that's the Warriors, which is like 90% of the league fans at work, and the Eels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, like, most of the people who are my friends, who, like, Bengali people who lived in New Zealand or Brunei and now live in Australia, are all very, very passionate Doggos fans, because they usually live, or Eels fans. So they either absolutely hate the Eels or absolutely love them, because obviously, Doggos hate Eels and vice versa.
Yeah. That is quite funny, actually.
So they either live in Bankstown or they live in Parramatta, which obviously and so in the western suburbs of Sydney, and the NRL has really, really embraced the immigrant community, and it's the same here in I believe here in New Zealand as well. Like, it tends to be the sport that's more followed by like Asian immigrants.
Yeah.
Like, everybody likes the All Blacks,
obviously,
but very few people, like, there are definitely people I know who, like, immigrated from Brunei or Bangladesh, who very much love Super Rugby and, like, have their favorite teams and all that. But they're very much a minority. They'll just love the All Blacks, and then they'll follow league rest of the year. Pretty much, like, they follow the Warriors for the rest of the year. And the Warriors haven't disappointed.
No.
Up the was.
Up the was.
And I think for once, the Warriors in Australia are also sort of a sentimental favorite. People, like, in the wide world of sport, Graham Hughes, like, all these people, all the regular league hardcore people are they're joining the Warriors bandwagon and going on about how they love to see the Warriors win, and they've done so much for rugby league and be great for New Zealand. So, in a weird way, the Warriors are also sentimental favorites.
Yeah. I think it's just, I mean, it is right, because of the hard yards the Warriors had to do over the last few years through COVID. Like, it's just everybody looks at it and goes, if anybody deserves it, it's the Warriors. Just, and just looking back at the graph they've had over the years and how close we've come on two occasions. But yeah, just to get a win, just to get a premiership would be so awesome. And this year would be one of those, say first year back, front of home crowd, just be awesome.
Absolutely. So everybody's anticipating it with bated breath. The draw has obviously, since they finished fourth, we know our final 8 now in the NRL. The NRL, we've got the Panthers, the Broncos, the Storm, the Warriors. I think 3 of those teams were definitely expected to finish in the top 4. We've got the Sharks, the Roosters, the Knights, and the Raiders. This is, I think, the only team from the western suburbs in the playoffs this year are the Panthers. So there's much bragging rights for them. The Sydney coastal teams have 2 with the Sharks and the Roosters. Obviously, the outer New South Wales, there's the Knights and I consider the Raiders basically as another New South Wales team, and Broncos, as always, holding the flag up for Queensland, and the Storm, as always, holding the flag up for Victoria, and the New Zealand Warriors are the New Zealand Warriors. So, up the was, yes. So Friday, we've got the Broncos playing the Storm at Suncorp. Also, just as a special note this year, the NRL Grand Final will be held in Suncorp Stadium as well. So that'll be very interesting. What do you see about this Broncos-Storm matchup?
I think it'll be pretty close, but I mean the Broncos have been awesome all year. There is the fact that the Storm have just beaten them at Suncorp as well. Like that was the final round.
I
It's
think
basically a repeat. They go
their
in.
form has been a bit shaky for the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they've played badly, but like unlike Penrith, who just got stronger with every game towards the end of the season, it feels like the Broncos were getting shakier and shakier. I would not be surprised if the Storm beat them.
Yeah.
But obviously the Broncos have an extra life if they lose, regardless, because those are the two top-seeded finals, playoffs.
Yeah.
So I would 100% not be surprised if the Broncos lost it. I mean, the Storm have been really, really, really good.
You can't write off the Storm. I mean, that's just golden rule number one of NRL. No matter what their season's been like, you can't write the Storm off. But I still feel in this case, yes, the Broncos are a little bit shaky, but they've still been winning. They've haven't, other than against the Storm just last week, it's been a very long time since they lost before that. And being at home, being a final series, crowd behind them, I can't go past the Broncos. I think they'll pull it out. They've been able to grind out wins. They've been able to find the win somehow. Even if they've been playing badly, they've still been piling on the points. So I think it'll be the Broncos, and it's different from last week of the regular season, right? When you're already in the top four. You've sort of
that's true.
One eye on the postseason. I mean, there was the thing that the Broncos sort of had the option for getting the minor premiership. Which they sort of
I always
blew with
felt
that,
the Broncos, because they dropped the minor, I think they did take that game seriously. The Warriors were blatantly resting players and giving other people a start.
The Warriors were very much it was Warriors B maybe,
so that gets the Daily M.
Yeah.
As he should. Like, isn't that a given? I feel like he's definitely going to win the Dally M medal this year. He's going to join RTS as the only the second Warriors player, I want to say, to win it.
Pretty sure. I don't think Stacey Jones won it, did he? The only other one that might have got it. I don't think so, though.
I don't think so. Maybe Matthew Ridge back in the day, but no, I don't. Actually, no, I don't. I know that Matthew Ridge probably didn't.
Matthew Ridge definitely not. But yeah, Stacey Jones, I think, be the only other one that might have won it.
Yeah, and Stacey played in the era of people like Freddie Fittler and Andrew Johns, so a bit hard.
It'd be very hard. I'm pretty sure he did as well, but it's the only other one I can think of that might have got close. Just because he had some very outstanding seasons as well. But yeah, for this year, Shawnee J, seems hard not to give it to him. There are a few other top contenders.
There are many great contenders, but once again, I think because of the sentimentality, there's probably a feeling that the Warriors will probably not win the premiership amongst the Australian people who get the vote, and so this will be sort of a, oh look, we gave them something, they've won another Dally M, and I think that might be what happens. Not that I think it's a token award, I think he's definitely deserving of winning it.
Oh yes, definitely.
But the other side, a sentimental favourite.
Yeah, the other side of it is if they make it through to a preliminary final, even the grand final, and I can't remember exactly when the Dally M's are handed out, but it'll be on the back of Shawnee J and Tohu Harris, so it will definitely be deserved at that point.
100%.
Even if they just win it against the Panthers this week, this weekend coming, I think that will be enough almost to say that he's especially if he has another one of his outstanding games.
He's almost carried the team for the last few games that they've had.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's him and a few others, but yeah, he's always there, and the whole time he's always been there.
I mean, there are some issues. I think Isaac Luke being injured for the rest of the season's a big blow.
That is a big blow.
For the Waz. He's been in really good form. There's been a few people, like from the academy and the juniors who've come up into the team to replace and done a good job. And also, everybody, there's obviously the elephant in the room. Everybody's wondering, where are they gonna play when RTS comes back next year?
Yeah.
To the Warriors. There's not a. I think he's gonna be playing at center, from the looks of it, because Luke's been so good and fullback.
Yeah. No, it will be hard. Yeah, it's interesting that we slotted in, and it's a good problem to have, right? To be like.
Yeah, 100% a good problem to have. I agree.
Obviously, he has to play somewhere because it's RTS, but at the same time.
Oh yeah. He's obviously gonna play.
Yeah.
But also, where is he gonna play?
Yeah, that's how How do you reshape the team to keep it at the best it can be? And you're right, perhaps centre is the best place.
Apparently, that's what he's been talking to Andrew Webb about, because Andrew Webb's been pretty open about, like, yeah, I've been talking to RTS, this is the sort of thing we've been talking about. And I like the idea, but, like, we shouldn't look too far forward. It would be, I think he would be absolutely thrilled to be coming to a team that's, like, champions. I'm sure he's been, like, such a loyal servant to the Warriors for so many years. Obviously, he would have loved to have been playing this year so that he could join in.
Yeah.
But that is not to be. Now, looking at the other matchups, we've got Penrith and the Warriors at Penrith. They played a very close game. Andrew Webster going up against his old mentor.
Yeah.
And Ivan Cleary, Warriors legend, of course.
Yes.
And everyone's favorite, Penrith, like every New Zealander's favorite Penrith Panther, Nathan Cleary playing.
Yeah.
Again, he did say that he will not. He said that I'm not going to say up the Waz, because we're not friends this week. But he said that with a smile, so he's definitely happy. He did say he was very happy to see how well they were doing. Obviously, I think if Penrith didn't make the final and the Warriors did, that's definitely going to be some support from that side of West Sydney.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think, the Warriors and Panthers have always had quite a good relationship. Mostly thanks to the Clearys. Ivan Cleary's sort of been that big bridge, but
yeah.
But as for the game, obviously the Warriors are winning. Like,
100%. We're just gonna go straight to the prelim finals and host a game at Mount Smart. That's the other controversy.
Yeah.
Mount Smart or Eden Park. It's up to the NRL.
Yeah.
They have said that they will play. They will haven't made a decision about it yet, which is to me a bit worrying.
What I understood was that Eden Park seemed to be they were just trying to work out whether they can make it work. Nothing else on can get all the permits and everything. It seemed to be the favourite because at the end of the day, 50,000 fans.
There's absolutely nothing else on the All Blacks are in France and it's not rugby season.
But it's more I guess it's worded wrong, but nothing else. Nothing that. Because they're only allowed to do a number of things, right, at the Eden Park, so that it fits into the schedule.
Yeah. I think, true. To be fair, I think they have reserved the right to host games at Eden Park, playoff games at Eden Park. Eden Park's planning permission thing. They've already put in their
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all there, but
their
it'll just be working.
applications a long time ago in anticipation of if this happens, we want to be able to take advantage of it. Like the NRL are not a cricket governing body, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Good point.
They
But it's
don't
still,
decide things in the last minute.
there's still permits that have to be sorted out now. Like, sure, they've done all the
Yeah.
prelim work, but you still got the final bits to actually do now to finalize it. But that's so that's how I understood it. That was the bit that was being worked through, and whether that would sort out. It's just that is the question though. Do you take it away from the fortress from Mount Smart, or
I mean,
go
I would
below
love
whatever it
for it
is?
to be held at Mount Smart. That is my
Yeah.
preferred option. Vodafone are already setting aside saying that it's a $50 charge for the finals, regardless of where it's at.
Yeah. It's not too
Which
bad.
I think is a bit poor. Like, this is the prelim on top of. This is not the ticket.
Oh, right, I see what you mean. Oh, dear. Yeah, no, that's, I was thinking 50 for a finals one, not so bad, but
50 for a finals ticket would be sensational, let's be fair. But I think this is the thing. If it was the NRL understand that, people in New Zealand aren't going to pay, that many people aren't going to pay $70, $80 for finals like they would in Sydney, for example, in Homebush. And so if they pay Mount Smart, realistically, you're charging $50 to $60 for finals tickets.
Yeah, that's probably realistic.
Like, I'm not saying corporate boxes. I'm just saying like
Just
your
standard
basic
things.
tickets. Yeah.
But you've got the bank there, so that was normally about $20-$30 to get on the embankment in the north end.
Yeah.
So that's the cheapest at Mount Smart normally, and then the stands are 30 or 40 if I remember correctly off the top of my head.
I don't think I'm not. The stands will probably be like $45, $50, if they do that. But Eden Park, 50, you can probably very easily charge $50 a ticket at Eden Park.
Yeah.
Without worrying at all.
Yeah. Yes. That's the other thing. That's the thing to be considered. You can fill up Eden Park, 50,000 people. That creates an atmosphere. And your 50,000 people at a much higher, potentially a higher ticket price. Even if you can set it lower and fill it up, and then you're going to make more money out of that as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting debate, but we'll see. I
think I'm with you, though.
We'll see in 3 weeks' time, right? Where that will be.
Obviously, it's a problem for the preliminary final on the 22nd or 23rd. That's when this gets decided.
Yeah. Now, looking at the next matchups, we have the Sharks playing the Roosters, Coastal Derby, and we have the Knights versus the Raiders. So I think the Knights are going to beat the Raiders. I don't think we need to discuss that much further. The Raiders barely scraped through. They're in terrible form. They can't defend. Knights
they definitely can't defend.
Yeah. Knights are pretty good. That's my reasoning.
Yeah. Well, the Knights have been fairly consistent. They've been winning.
They just missed out on top 4 as well.
Yeah, a reasonable amount on it, but their points differential is huge. It's better than both the Warriors and the Storm. It's only the Panthers and the Broncos that got better points differential. So the Knights are piling on points and they're defending well. The Raiders are the opposite.
Yeah.
Somehow they scraped wins somewhere there. They've been at minus 100 point differential for most of the season. especially the last half of the season. So yeah, it's just, I think I'm with you. Like, I don't see how the Knights don't win.
Yeah, I think
And
it's just an easy one for the Knights. It's at
and it's at
Marathon
yeah, exactly. It's
Stadium.
at home for them, so Knights all the way.
Um,
Sharks Roosters,
the
on the
the
other
fun
hand,
is the Sharks Roosters is absolutely uh bugger to call. Extremely close. I think I can't separate the two teams. They've both had really good seasons, in
yes,
my opinion. Um, they're these are dark horse teams. Like whoever wins in this game are like in pole position to try and go all the way to the grand final.
yes,
They'll have momentum, and they'll have gotten momentum after a quote unquote tough game.
yeah, exactly. It's going to be one of those games that's going to steer them right for the rest of it. Interesting enough, during the
Yeah,
season, they've gone 1-1. So Sharks
yeah.
beat Roosters at home, and Roosters beat the Sharks at home. So
I just always think the Sharks choke
they do.
these sort
And
of situations.
Roosters have finals pedigree, right?
Yeah, they have
Sharks are
finals pedigree. I think their players are just better. I think and they're hosting the game. I mean, it's at Homebush, so doesn't matter. Or sorry, is it Homebush or Sydney Football Stadium?
It is. No, it's Points Pit Stadium. It's up in
Oh yeah, so it's
It's up
at
at Sharks.
their.
Yeah, it's up at Cronulla. It's up at Sharks
It's
home.
up Cronulla. Okay.
Yeah.
I think if it's up at Cronulla, but the thing is, there'll be Roosters fans showing up
Yeah.
to
It's
that
not like
game.
it's a long distance, right? It's
Yeah, it's not like English football where opposition
yeah.
fans can't show up unless they want to die.
Yeah.
Like that's not how rugby league operates, and at least not in the NRL. Yeah, I am. I think I'm still picking I'm picking the Roosters here.
Yeah, I think I picked the Roosters on past performance um in finals. Like it just feels to me like Roosters will be able to do better um in finals footy. Sharks had a decent season. They played well, but I just feel the Roosters, even though it's at home for Cronulla, the Roosters are going to be just a touch too good.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just always what happens with the Roosters. They always end up just being too good for in the finals, especially in the first round. I can't expect it. And as I said, I think they're going to be dangerous if they do win, because they start entering finals mode. That's going to be every team in the NRL is going to be on notice at that point.
And I
Um,
guess also it looks like the Roosters star players are a little bit more. They're back into it. So Joey Manu is back. Has been named. He's back fit from his
ah,
injury. And Junior Panga
that's
is playing as
that's a
well. So
huge
yeah.
development.
While
Yeah.
Sharks, um, on a Sharks get Will Kennedy back as well, but he's just along the reserves, not starting. So that would
Yeah.
suggest that his hamstring's still playing a little bit of a problem. And Connor Tracy, his replacement, got injured as well against the Raiders. So I think injury news or team news puts it also towards the Roosters.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's where the win's going. But I think this is really close. I wouldn't be surprised if the Sharks won.
Oh, not surprised at all. Like the same with the Broncos
They
Storm, right?
choke, but they
Yeah,
still tend to get to
yeah,
finals and do stuff.
yeah. I say they're a really good team. It's not.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, they're in their place because of their form and because of their ability. They've played really well. Like they've just come off
Yeah.
they handed the beat down to the Raiders final week.
Yeah.
Uh, So,
I think they had already pretty much guaranteed qualification as well at that point, so they didn't play their starters either, from my understanding.
Yeah, I think their points differential would have helped them. They would have had to been absolutely smoked by the Raiders to been dropped out, I think, because they were 2 points, because it's been super close the whole year, right? But Sharks ended on 34 points, and Raiders were 32 points in 8th. So, yeah, they would have ended on 32 points as well. They just had a much better points differential, so they probably would have been okay. They would have been okay as it ended up, but even with other results going, they probably still would have been okay. Taken the Rabbitohs or the Cowboys to actually pummel whoever they were playing to get up there. Whilst the Raiders had their minus 137 points, so that was always a little bit more worrying for them.
Yeah, it was a bit more. It's quite straightforward, really. I think the Sharks have some momentum going into this. They've played really well.
I mean, on the plus side for the Sharks is say Roosters are similar to the Raiders, and they're going minus points differential, even though they came 7th. Well, the Sharks are up there as well at 122 plus, so that's very similar to the Warriors. So that does say the Sharks team is playing well. I'm still going Roosters, but like as we say, it's going to be super close and super tight.
Yeah. That's gonna possibly be the game of the round. I think it's gonna be a very close, like basically just back-to-back set of sixes.
Yeah, I think that and Broncos Storm, and this one takes it because it is knockout game. Whilst the Broncos Storm, the loser goes on to play next week. Whilst Sharks Roosters,
is why
someone's going home.
It's a do or die game, and I think this is why and it's between local rivals. It's just gonna be a really, really intense game.
It is going to be super intense, that game.
We'll know more, obviously, what happens with that next week. Moving on, we go to the rich people code. Rugby are having their World Cup this week, as I found out in the sauna, and they're opening with New Zealand versus France. The pools have all been drawn with much controversy and angst.
Much controversy and angst. I think that controversy and angst is still ongoing.
But my response to that is they knew when the draw was. They should have gotten good.
Yeah.
That's just
to be fair, that was sort of that's sort of the angst, is that some teams did get good. They're just a bit too late.
Oh, too late.
Yeah.
Too late? It's too late. Can't complain now.
The other way I look
at it... But no one... I don't care.
Yeah. The other way I look at it is, to win the Rugby World Cup, you should beat the top teams anyway. So if that just happens to be in your pool in the quarterfinals, that's just where they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, it feels a bit hard, but you'll be out at the quarterfinals potentially, or even not even out of your pool in the case of Scotland. But
you're gonna play a team in the top 12 in your pool. 2 teams in the top 12 in your pool, regardless. In a Rugby World Cup, you're gonna have tough games.
Yeah.
Stop whining.
Just buckle up, win those games.
Exactly.
And it's not like Scotland can't beat South Africa or Ireland. They have the quality to do it. So, but yeah.
Okay, if you're not good enough to beat South Africa and Ireland in the Pool B, you weren't gonna win the World Cup. So what are you complaining about?
I guess a little bit of it is qualification for the next World Cup, right? So going up in the pool stage means more qualification matches.
I think they're a top 10 side, so they automatically qualify.
Well, it was still qualification if you didn't make it out of the pool, but because Australia had to do it one year. The same thing.
Australia had to qualify back when they had old rules where you had to finish, and you had to get to the semis to automatically qualify.
Oh, I see, they changed. Sorry, I'm being old school.
So this was the year this was in South Africa in '95 where they were defending champions and they lost to England.
Yeah.
Infamously, one of the one of the infamous losses for the Wallabies.
Yeah. As I say, I remember it well.
Yeah, The '95 World Cup never happened though, so doesn't count, right?
It gets null and void for cheating, right?
Yeah. The whole tournament's null and void.
Null and void. Just wipe it out of history books.
Yeah. But so going on from that non-controversy, as far as I'm concerned, the we have two. We have our groups. The hosts, France, have drawn their eternal World Cup opponent, the All Blacks.
Yeah.
It just seems to always happen. It always seems to happen in interesting ways. So this is the opening game of the tournament. Much like I believe this was also the opening of the game of the '87 World Cup, which was
87 and 2011. Oh no, yeah, 87 was the opening one there, and then in 2011 they didn't. Yeah, they didn't. New Zealand and France were in the pools, and they didn't play us against each other in the opening game, despite the fact that would have been poetic. But such is life.
Yeah.
But France knows how to do it properly, and they get New Zealand and France drawn in the same pool. They're like, yeah, that's the opening game right there.
Yeah, exactly. Like a normal person does.
Yeah, like a normal person does. New Zealand Rugby Union.
Yeah.
But yes, that's Saturday morning New Zealand time. I think 7 a.m. New Zealand time kickoff.
Yeah. In the rest of the pool, we have Italy, Uruguay, and Namibia. Now, Uruguay and Namibia have come leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
But so they could get an upset here, play spoiler to Italy, and France, depending on how that game goes on. I feel like New Zealand's not going to lose to Italy, even if they lose to France in the opening game.
No, I don't see New Zealand or France losing to any of the other three, personally.
Yeah, I think pretty straightforward. Like, I obviously am picking the All Blacks to top this group.
Yeah.
I don't think France has ever beaten New Zealand in pool play.
No.
Ever. In the Rugby World Cup.
The other thing I look at is
knockouts plenty of times.
Yeah.
Unless it's the final. Any knockout game leading up to a final, France, beats us.
We beat them in 2015 in a quarterfinal. In Cardiff, even.
Yeah, okay.
Like the one time one time we managed to beat them outside of the final, the knockout games. But the other way I look at it is it doesn't actually matter who tops this pool and who doesn't, because of how the draws worked out. Like, we go on to play, South Africa, Ireland, or Scotland, one way or the other, and then we play either France again or the winner or one of those three in the semi-finals. So there is no real benefit of other than momentum of who tops this group. It's the same
bragging rights. If you need any other reason other than bragging rights, yeah.
I mean, it is bragging rights.
Why are you even a professional sportsman at the?
Yeah. Very cool. But to be fair, I would happily lose this game if that meant New Zealand got to not lose anything more and won the World Cup. I'll trade that in. Yeah. If we have to lose one game in the tournament, this one. But,
yeah.
As you say, bragging rights. There is momentum. There is everything else that comes with it, and potentially we're playing France again in the semi-final. So
have a team ever won the World Cup if they've lost a game? I don't think so.
Yes, I think South Africa did that last time. Pretty sure they lost the first game.
They lost to New Zealand in the group game. Yes,
in the group game. They lost the group game and went on to win it. But
yeah. No, they lost to Japan, didn't they?
Oh yes, no, Japan. Game. Yes, no, they lost to Japan in the group game. You're right.
Not to us. Yeah.
No. So So that's the new meta.
Yeah. So South Africa's created the new meta, as they tend to do. And South Africa, we know, aren't going to win a World Cup until 2035. because they only win a World Cup every 12 years.
Yes, exactly.
That is the law of Rugby World Cups, and South Africa know that they can't break that law because that would also curse them forever.
Yeah, exactly.
The eyes of old gods and new.
Yes, in the eyes of the old gods and the new, they would be oath breakers and pattern breakers, and that is the
Yeah,
most shameful of all curses.
yeah, 100%. So South Africa know better, I would like to think.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a team that understand the value of tradition and honor.
Oh, exactly.
In Pool B, they've got Ireland and Scotland, Tonga and Romania, like three really, really good teams. But once again, I think South Africa have tournament pedigree, and they're defending champions. They've been playing really well in the rugby championships, and they've been playing really well in the warm-up games against Northern Hemisphere opponents. I picked them to win, and yeah, I think Ireland are just too good for Scotland. Those are my two picks there.
And this really is the pool of death, because I feel sad for Tonga and Romania in this, because the rest of them are just super, and you feel bad for Scotland. I don't. Just be fair,
I wouldn't be surprised if Tonga or Romania played spoiler in this pool as well.
Oh, 100%. They're going to win some games here. I think they pick up a win at least each, and so that means not winning just against each other, like somewhere else.
Yeah.
But Ireland is. I actually see Ireland topping this, because they are number one. They've been playing outstanding. They've beaten the All Blacks last couple of years in a row. Like, they are the top team at the moment. Scotland, I know we talked about it earlier in the year. Scotland fans are the ones crying the most about when the draw was done and how they've been screwed up. But I think Ireland should be the ones most upset, because they should be ranked number one coming into this.
I feel like Ireland fans would go, "We'll win."
Oh no, Ireland fans just don't care because they're going to win. And if it's not New Zealand, I think it's going to be Ireland. So, and it's sort of going to be sad that that's going to be the semi-final and not the final, because to me that's a better final. But such is life. So I see Ireland topping this group. I know South Africa's playing really well, but I feel that there's a possibility they don't make it out of this pool. Like, that's how the 12-year rule gets kept, is that they don't actually make it out of the pool, and Scotland does. I'd still back South Africa over Scotland. I think it's going to be Ireland and South Africa, but which means South Africa plays us in the quarterfinals, which is a crazy quarterfinal to be had. But
yeah. But New Zealand has a good record against South Africa in knockout games, not in finals.
Not in finals, but in knockout games, yeah. So, a good place to play them is in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather play South Africa in the knockouts than in the finals. But yeah, it's a super interesting group, and as I said, we expect the other teams to actually get wins in this group. I don't think it's going to be all South Africa, Scotland, or Ireland. Those other teams, overfocus. If they overfocus, they're going to lose. If they take these guys lightly, they're going to lose.
Exactly. So that's, I think the actual final order of this pool could come down to where how the spoilers work. Who does Tonga beat? Who does Romania beat? Out of those top three. Because I just sort of feel like they may get a win out of that, or have got so close that, the point differential comes in and it spoils it there, because they're out, because they didn't score enough tries or any of these things.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. This is how it feels like that's how it's gonna play out. The Tonga and Romania are both teams that can and do throw up upsets. They have form in doing that. Now, the other interesting group is Pool C, in my opinion. Let's just say it in our best voice. The best meme being shared on the internet is basically from the thing from Captain Phillips where Fiji going, look at me, I'm the favorite now.
I'm the favorite now. Oh, Fiji could definitely get out of this group. Like, Australia is not playing
I
very
am
well.
picking Fiji to top this group. I think Fiji is going to top this group. They're
It's,
on fire. They're up for it. It's incredible to see how
how about
1 or 2 seasons playing Super Rugby has upskilled this team massively. Just more chemistry, more matches against top-level opposition. It's incredible. I think Super Rugby Pacifica, this is the proof of concept. The fact that Fiji and I think all the Pacifica teams are going to be incredible at the World Cup.
100%. And I
they
think you're right.
Tonga is in a tough group, but I think Samoa and Fiji can both get out of their group.
Yeah. Samoa's also in a bit of a tough one, but potentially they still get out. But in this one, yes, I think Fiji definitely gets out of Pool C. I think you're right. It's quite likely they could possibly even top it. They're going to have momentum going into the Rugby World Cup. It's going to be super close, and I almost want to call the biggest upset and have Georgia come second because, like, Wales and Australia are not playing well.
That is. So there's this really like one of my favorite NFL shows to watch, or like American sports shows to watch, is called The Rich Eisen Show. And they do they're on YouTube. Strongly recommend people check them out. One of their segments that they have, and now they've turned it into a podcast on its own, like a segment on their show, is called Overreaction Monday, which is basically what are the overreactions people are having on the Monday after the weekend of sport. And basically one of the people on the show come up with a list of things that are which he thinks, and Rich Eisen has to decide whether they're overreactions or like, no, that's a reasonable reaction, like, that's not an overreaction, that's completely fair and reasonable. So you saying Georgia going out of the group, I say, yeah, that's not unreasonable.
No. And the interesting thing
is... not an overreaction.
No. The interesting thing is this is going to be decided pretty much in the first set of games, because Australia plays Georgia on Sunday at 4 a.m. and then Wales and Fiji play on Monday morning at 7 a.m. And those are two games that could almost decide that. Like if Georgia gets up and beats Australia, and that's first game in,
Georgia is going to bring a ton of fans to that game.
Yeah.
Like, rugby is the most popular sport in Georgia.
And Australia is not coming in with any momentum at all. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be super interesting. And to say, Fiji comes in with a lot of momentum against Wales, and also Wales has not been performing particularly well either. So, like, it's been a while since they won. Well, they beat Italy back in March as part of the Five Nations, and that's it for a while for Wales. So,
exactly.
Well, here's a big one actually. Come the end of last year, when I look back, Georgia beat Wales 13-12. So, that sort of shows where that is. And
let's be honest, any team in this pool, other than Portugal, can get out. But Portugal could play spoiler. Portugal are a good enough team to play spoiler, and they play a very interesting style of rugby.
Yeah.
They've got an identity, which I think is really interesting. Like, the teams outside the top 10 who developing their own in rugby culture. Like Portugal are a very interesting team. I can see them potentially put up a big fight against, because it could come down to point differential as well, right?
Yeah.
Put up a big fight against Wales, put up a big fight against Australia, or even Fiji, or even Georgia, and that could decide between the four. I think Fiji's going to go ahead. I am feeling your Georgia pick. This is the team. This is the pool where no top 10 team is going to come out of.
Yeah. I get the feeling it's going to happen as well, and it's going to be the big watershed moment for World Rugby. Like, it's going to happen the end of this weekend. Australia is going to lose. Wales is going to lose. and it's going to be all
Yeah.
on. Like that's going to be the big one is Sunday morning. Georgia get up, beat Australia. Whoa! I can feel it already.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Georgia have anything to fear from Australia or any. Like, they should be playing no fear, going for it. Like, this is their moment.
Exactly. As long as they play like that and they play like they have been, I think it's going to be a close game, and I think they can do it. So, I mean, they're known for their big forward packs. They're known for their resolute defense. So,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna sort out. And yeah, Fiji is just playing so well right now. The Super Rugby exposure has really helped. And they've been playing against these Australian players for the last 2 years. So when they get to play them, like there's nothing to hide. They know who they're playing. So
Yeah. They shouldn't fear the Australian players. They definitely shouldn't fear the Welsh players.
Exactly.
There's no. Fiji have the maybe not as big a forward pack as Georgia, but like I feel like a more technical and skilled one.
Well, the thing with Fiji is that, as the saying after their defeat of England, the winner of England. So in the past, Fiji's problem's just been fitness, discipline, and they showed against England that they now have both of those. They were able to foot it for the whole 80. They went the whole way, and they didn't give away silly penalties or silly cards or anything like that. So now suddenly you have the danger of Fiji that's always had, and it's going to last all 80 minutes, and they're not going to just lose people or give penalties away. So now you don't have the easy outs anymore. You have to actually tough it up against them. And as showed in the game against England, that's not easy to do. Not that England's particularly good right now, like they've had a run of bad results as well, and sort of just capped it off, but still. Like, it was just awesomeness by Fiji.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's hyped for Fiji. Look, I'll put this out there now. I hope we play Fiji in the final. But my only hesitancy in hoping for that is I don't know who I'd back.
All right.
I legitimately don't know who I would back in that scenario. Because I would love to see a team outside the top 10 actually go out there.
Yeah. Just imagine Fiji winning the World Cup. I mean, just imagine how massive that would be. And the fact that that would be celebrated in Suva, in Navi, and here in Auckland. So.
Yeah. It'd be one of the best sports results in the history of sport, in my opinion, if Fiji won the World Cup. It was like when they won the gold medal at the Olympics in 2016. My opinion was, look, if New Zealand doesn't win the Rugby Sevens gold, the first ever Rugby Sevens gold in the Olympics, it should be Fiji.
Yeah, that is 100%. It's between the two. But yeah, I mean, even if Fiji makes this final, the scenes here in Auckland will be similar to last year's Rugby League World Cup, right? When Samoa made the final there against Australia. Like, it won't really matter what the result is. It will just be such a party. It will be great.
Exactly.
And the good thing is they've got a good chance of doing that. So
yeah, they're on the opposite side of the pool. There's nobody on that opposite side they should fear. Like, I don't think they should fear anybody. Just to be clear.
The only team I think, if we move on to Pool D, that potentially could be giving them trouble would be Argentina in Pool D. But even then,
they're potentially facing them in the semis, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, it depends where Argentina comes up, but spoiler, I think Argentina will win that group.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think Argentina's going to win that group, and this is my. You tell me whether this is an overreaction. I think Samoa is going to come second.
I don't think that's an overreaction at all. I think it's potentially going to be closer here. Because Japan
could be second as well.
Japan could be second. England are being very
And
English
Chile
at the
are not
moment.
terrible, but I don't expect them to win any games.
No, I don't. I think this is like Pool A. This is one where you get one team there down the bottom, Chile. Like, yeah, sorry, you're losing everything. You'll play well, you'll look awesome, but
yeah,
no points for you. But
I think Samoa's ability to get points is what's going to potentially get them through the group, because I think they'll get a good. They will win big against Chile. Like, do you remember in the 2011 World Cup when Fiji scored like 80 points on Namibia
oh yes,
in Rotorua?
yeah,
Like, that's the sort of potential result that can happen, right?
yeah, or potentially more. Like, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think this will be an interesting one as well. Say Argentina, I think top, and I think I would go with you as Samoa second. Like, I think it's going to be close between England, Samoa, and Japan. I think England have got enough there that they can dig themselves out of their hole. It's a hole of their own making, but at the same time, I think they can sort of do it. But once again, it's going to come down to early on as well, because what have we got? England, Argentina first. I guess England lose that. It's okay. England, Japan next. Then they have Chile, and then they play Samoa last. Must do. Yeah.
And that might be the decider.
I think that, it's quite possibly going to be the decider there. Like, that's going to be the game there that Samoa matters. Japan have a chance to have got there themselves. They play England a little earlier on. Japan plays Argentina last, so that could be also potentially that they play Samoa. Japan and Samoa play on the 29th of September, so about in the middle, so they both get to play Portugal first. Well, Chile first, so. And they both, so that could be interesting, I think, how this one turns out. But I think I might go for you with Argentina top and then Samoa second. But I'm a little less certain about Pool D. Like with Pool C, I'm happy making the big call of saying Fiji and Georgia top will come out on top. Because I just look and go, why not?
Yeah,
like, they're playing Argentina better.
Has too much class not to get through. So I think I think you and I are very certain they're topping this group.
Yeah.
England can be second. I don't think they can beat Argentina at the moment. There's too much disarray in this team. I don't think I'll make a big call here. England will only win one game in this World Cup.
Oh yeah, that's a big call. But yeah,
is that an overreaction?
No, it's not an overreaction. Like that is I think that's a very valid outcome. Like, they'll beat Chile. I look at them versus Japan and go, technically yes. Will they? Who knows? Japan's much is very good. England's looking bad. This is a game Japan go in and win. Against England versus Argentina. England versus Samoa. Once again, it's at the end of the tournament. It's going to depend on how England's tournament's gone. Have they picked up the win against Japan? Are they looking like they can make it, or is this a last gasp effort where they need to pull something out?
And a potential monkey wrench there is if Japan beat Argentina in their last game, which can happen. Argentina may have guaranteed second.
Yeah.
That might also throw a monkey wrench on the other.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of calculations, and once again, I don't think there will be a. Okay, so according to this, third place team automatically qualifies for the 2027 World Cup. Third place in the group.
All right. Well, that's possibly right. That's possibly.
I don't know what Scotland's complaining about then.
No, Scotland I think make third and they're one.
Okay.
A little sad for Tonga.
This is my big call. England are not gonna qualify for the 2027 Rugby World Cup, and we'll have to go through a qualifying tournament.
Oh, that's just too funny not to happen. Especially after all the hullabaloo they had a few
I mean,
years
if
back.
I'm saying they're only winning one game, that's what I'm predicting, right?
Yeah, that is what
like,
you're predicting.
Yeah.
I just think that would be the most hilarious thing, given they were one of the sticking blocks of the grand combined World Test Championship thing going ahead, right? Because they didn't want to have promotion relegation out of the Six Nations.
They wanted it because they don't expect to be relegated. They wanted them in France were like, yeah, we're good with this. It was Scotland, Ireland, and Wales who were like, nope, and Italy.
Really?
And it needed to be unanimous.
All right, I thought it was England that was being all party pooper about it. That's the way I read it. Was that they were being like, but we don't want to get relegated. Not, and everyone's like, but you're not going to get relegated. And they're like, no, 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 no. But maybe I just read it wrong. Maybe my memory's faulty. I'm getting old.
I think England went, we're okay with the idea, but if it isn't supported by Scotland and Wales, we're not going to support it. Like which is a political thing, which we don't like it, but that's an understandable position. It's not their position. It's going, we're going to do the thing that keeps us having the least amount of enemies. Because, they can tell the Southern Hemisphere teams, look, we wanted to, but, these guys, if these guys had voted for it, we would have voted for it. And they don't listen to us. What can we do? Yeah. And I think to an extent that's not an unfair assessment because that is why in cricket we don't have a second division in the World Test Championship.
Yeah.
Like there should be.
There probably should be, you're right, but such as things go.
Yeah. But before we go down into a cricket hole, this is our final predictions. New Zealand, France. We're predicting New Zealand 1, France 2.
Yep.
Lock it in, Eddie?
Lock it in, Eddie. Final answer.
Final answer. Next group, we're going South Africa and Ireland. Are you going Ireland and South Africa?
I'm going Ireland, South Africa. You're going South Africa, Ireland. So yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Look, I would be thrilled if Ireland topped this group.
I think that game, Ireland-South Africa, will be a humdinger of a game, right? It's going to be super close, super interesting, super good to watch. And it is going to decide the top of this group. Much to Scotland's dismay.
Yeah. But, get good.
Yeah, get good. Get gooder. Get good at the right time, Scotland. Don't get good at the wrong time. Get good at the right time.
Yeah. And now...
So, by the way, that would mean our quarterfinals would be New Zealand, South Africa, and France, Ireland for me, and New Zealand, Ireland, and South Africa, France for you.
Yeah. I mean, either way, tough route for the All Blacks, and whoever is on that side of the draw anyway, regardless of where you finish and what happens. There's no easy games after the group stages, and arguably no easy games in the group stages for Group B.
To me, the winner of the Rugby World Cup comes from those two pools.
I am inclined to agree. Actually, no. I think the winner could come from the other side because they will have less wear and tear and less injuries.
There is the thing that the other side will just need somebody there just basically needs to have one awesome game, and that's the final. Just get through the rest of them, and then show up against whichever of those four, New Zealand, France, South Africa, Ireland, and just have a blinder on that one day. That's all they have to do. Whilst New Zealand, France, Italy, New Zealand, France, Ireland, and South Africa have to have like multiple weeks of good games playing at the top, at the peak, just to make the final.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, for those four, it's basically every week from the start to the final is going to be almost finals level football, and that intensity and that physicality. As you're saying, there's wear and tear that's going to happen. So you might be right. Potentially, it's a Pool C or a Pool D winner.
Yeah, I think that's because there's still enough reps, and they're still playing against high opponents, and their pools are tough. So and then in the knockouts, it's gonna be they'll have a game that's a bit less intense, and then they go into intense games again.
Yeah.
In theory.
In theory.
In practice, we obviously don't know how it's gonna play out. There's a reason why, certain teams seem to always make the business end of these sort of tournaments.
Yeah.
So hopefully history will not repeat, and we will get obviously Argentina's a top 10 side, but they're not a traditional powerhouse. I would love to see that if it's not the All Blacks, I would love to see a team from the other side get through, because it'll be a first-time champion if it is Fiji. If we're right and it is Fiji and Georgia, and Argentina and Samoa get through, any 4 of those teams win the World Cup, I think that's pretty incredible.
That is amazingly incredible out of those lots.
Or Japan.
Look at this. Actually, just side point. So Fiji now have climbed to 7th in the world. They're above England and Australia and Wales. So calling them to come out of their pool top is definitely not an overreaction.
And calling them to make the final is not unreasonable either.
No, given the side they're on, exactly. Like Argentina and Fiji are the 2 top teams of that side. The other
final
side is,
hot take.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make, and you tell me if it's an overreaction or not. Fiji are making the finals of the Rugby World Cup.
Not an overreaction, but I would put Argentina to win that semi-final. I think it'll be a Fiji-Argentina semi-final, and I think Argentina does it. Unfortunately for Fiji, I think that might be the hurdle too far.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. I understand what you're saying, but you're saying it's not an overreaction.
Definitely not an overreaction.
Yeah, because once you're in the semis, anything can happen.
Exactly.
Once you're in the knockouts, anything can happen, to be fair. But I think Fiji have a relatively, that side of the pool, Fiji, I think, don't have any teams they should really be afraid of, other than Argentina, potentially.
Yeah. That's what are we looking at for that? So Fiji was saying top, so they're going to be playing, Samoa. It is Samoa that'll be playing in the quarters with our predictions, which will be a quite a good game.
Yeah. And Argentina will play Georgia, if we're right.
Yeah, if we're right, I think Argentina wins that game. Argentina's not England. Yeah. They're not Australia. They're actually looking good. They're actually got their shit together. So.
Yeah. 100%. It'll be an amazing game either way. I think the teams have the teams are, as you said, they're doing really, really well. I can't see it not go down to the wire. I think Fiji having that local rival. If they do play Samoa, they have the tougher quarter.
Yeah.
So in the semis, where that might play to Argentina's, where maybe it won't, because maybe they're battle hardened. Who knows? I don't think Argentina's not taking Fiji lightly. I don't think.
Don't think it will.
And any team that makes the semis of the World Cup, if you're taking them lightly, you deserve to lose the tournament.
Yes, exactly. You shouldn't be looking past the game in front of you, especially once you get to knockout ones. Yeah. Even pool play, if you take your eye off the prize on the pool play, you're gonna trip up there as well. But that goes double for knockouts, because it's a one and done. If you take your eye off the prize and you slip up, that's it. You get no do-overs, no second chances. Pack your bags, head home.
Yeah. Or as we like to say, get good.
Yeah, get good, noob.
Yeah. I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoy this tournament and hope you enjoy the playoffs. Always, thank you very much, and see you next time.
Catch you next time.
Well, that is the end. Thanks for listening all the way through.
If you liked what you heard, we have even more. Find Pixel2 Discord and a Buy Me a Coffee.
Pretty sure it's Buy Me a Beer.
Oh yeah, buy me a beer on buymeacoffee.com.
In both these places, you can talk to us, and we may even listen, especially if you do buy a said beer or coffee. I might still be confused.
Yes, we're easily bribed. All links are in the show notes below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This is on YouTube.